My name is Christina, and I will be talking to you today about Honest Work, Chapter 13, which is about leadership. And so, one of the things that it covers is a good and bad leader, a quote, good leader, which is both efficient and ethical. So, if any of us want to be managers or CEOs or start our own business, then we have to be both ethical and also be efficient. So I asked some of my colleagues what their definition of leadership was, as well as how they define a good or bad leader, and no potatoes were harmed in the making of this video.
What is your definition of leadership, Nicole?
Potatoes.
What does it mean to be a quote good leader, both ethical and efficient based on your research done? Can there be a leader and a successful business with both?
It's hard to define a good leader, and I think a lot of people define it in terms of efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
But then you could say Hitler was a good leader because he was efficient in carrying out what his goal was. At least for a while, he was efficient at that. But to me, without the ethical component, you can't be a good leader. You can be both. You can be a good leader and efficient, and we see that sometimes in organizations. You see that sometimes with nonprofits. But to me, defining a good leader, you have to have the ethical component. So I would say Hitler's an efficient leader. I don't think I would call him a good leader.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Hello.
Hello, Mary. How would you define a leader? Is it sometimes hard to be both ethical, always doing the right thing, and an efficient leader, and why?
How would I define a leader? I think a leader is someone that can lead, but also needs to be a follower at some time. She also needs to be able to, or he, not going to be gender biased, but they need to listen to their fellow peers and hear everyone's opinions out and not be biased. It's really important to make sure that the group that you are leading is being, all your voices are being heard and you're taking them into consideration. Sometimes what you want might not be what's best for the group, but collaborating with your fellow members of the group is really important. So I think that's what being a leader is all about. And it is hard to do the right thing sometimes, but I think a good leader can understand that doing the right thing is what's most important for the group in general.
So, as you can see, there is no clear definition of leadership, or a good leader for that matter. But to be a leader, you have to have followers, and followers are very important. So, I asked some of my colleagues how important they thought their followers were and how those influence you being a leader. As a leader, how important are your followers and why? Any personal experiences where your followers were not being cooperative? How did you or what did you change to fix that?
Being a leader, your followers are extremely important, and you have to understand who those people are. So I'll give you an example. Way back in the day, I was actually in charge of running a foster care program for the military in Germany. And so my quote followers were all volunteers. Well, volunteers are a very different group than when you're a position, say you're an HR manager and those people report to you. So that took me a while to figure out, because the volunteers, they kind of want to do what they want to do, but if they don't like it, then they don't want to do that. So you have to make sure that you establish a common goal, and that whenever you have situations with volunteers, you can refer back to why whatever it is that you want them to do helps with this goal. You have a lot more power when you're in a formal position as a leader, but it took me a while. I was pretty young. It took me a while to figure out how to manage volunteers. And you have to be a lot more persuasive. You have to be more, I don't know if subtle's the right word, but you can't be real directive. and you have to get them to, move in the direction you want them to move, and sometimes do things that are not quite as fun if you need them to stuff envelopes
Yeah.
or something that's very routine. But if you can link that to why they
Why they're doing it.
volunteered,
Mhm.
which for them it was foster care program was important to them.
Yeah.
And if they could feel like whatever they were doing was related to that, then you could move them in that direction. But I was not real successful starting out until I figured that out.
Yeah. Okay. Any other personal experiences?
That was the one I could
One of
think
the
of
most-
being, not cooperative when you're a manager is easier to deal with in terms of position power and disciplinary action.
Yeah.
And so you have steps you can go through. The volunteers to me were the tricky group.
Okay. Thank you. In your position as president of an organization, how important are your followers?
Your followers are very important. You gotta delegate tasks to those. You have to. Oh my God! Stop laughing at me.
Sorry. Okay.
Are you good at this?
Yes.
I'm gonna start over. Your followers are really important for when you're leading an organization. Being president means you have to delegate tasks to many different people. They have different positions, obviously, and you gotta make sure that they're being accountable for what they need to do. And if they don't want to do it, then you have some pretty bad followers. But I think that an organization strives off of its followers and not just its leader. So I think it's really important that everyone needs to put in their best effort towards it to get to the common goal of making the organization the best it can be. So support from your followers is really important. That's one of the biggest things as leader. You don't want to have a group that doesn't like you or isn't respect you. So respecting your leader and respecting your followers and giving each other the equal respect that you guys deserve is really important.
So I actually took a course here at the University of Redlands on leadership with Dr. Jill Robinson, which is why I interviewed her. And so another question that I had for her was how hard it is to be ethical and be a leader at the same time. And so, yeah, let's hear what she had to say. So, is it hard to be ethical when in the position of a leader? If it is, why is it so hard?
That's a difficult question. I don't think it's hard to be ethical as a leader if you have a strong sense of who you are. But I think situations that leaders are in often put pressure on them to at least walk a fine line between ethics, what they should be doing and what they know they shouldn't be doing. So in that sense, the situation can make it difficult to be ethical, but the leader themselves, it's really how much you believe in yourself and how much you can resist pressure to do otherwise.
I agree. So if leadership can't be clearly defined and we need followers in order to be a leader or continue to be a successful leader, one of the questions that I had while reading this was why would someone want to be a leader? So I asked one of my best friends, who is president of my organization, why she liked being a leader. What is the best part of being a leader on this campus and in your organization?
I think the best part of being a leader on this campus is that it's a really close-knit kind of campus. Like everyone knows what you're a leader, organization you're a leader of, and everyone what they're involved in. My favorite part about Redlands technically is the smallness and the closeness that everyone has with each other. I like being able to say hi from every aspect on campus, oh hey, what's up, the comments or whatever else. You make friends with leaders of other organizations. It's not like you're competitive with them, but it's more oh, I want to see where you're going with your goals, your leadership skills, and all the other things. My organization personally, I love being leader of it because of what it stands for. Alpha Xi has a bunch of different pillars that it stands for, and I'm really happy that I'm a leader of those. Community service, diversity, sisterhood, bonding, and stuff like that. It's really important to me that I promote those in my lifestyle and lead an organization that promotes those too. So, signing off.
So on Monday, we will have some activities for you, learning how to be a leader, your leadership skills and qualities. So thank you for watching. Shout out to Mary Jane Carr, my best friend, for letting me videotape her, as well as Dr. Jill Robinson. And I hope you guys have a great weekend. Thank you.